Okay, we're live. Hello. Oh shit. Hi. Now bye. Uh, welcome to the Elite, the Bloodlines. We're talking about the Committee of 300 and their agenda. I gotta wait on my YouTube to catch up. Hang on.
I thought I was pretty sure I was sub to that channel. Maybe it's just
I have
not.
to. This one and
Now I'm
Becky.
coming up.
Okay. The Committee of 300. They're 300 men, all of whom know one another, direct the economy, destiny of Europe, and choose the successors, not only Europe but the whole world. Their successors from among themselves, so they're not elected by anybody but each other. They vote for each other. So it's a product of the British East India Company's Council of 300. The Dutch East India Company, founded in 1600. Uh, it made vast fortunes in the opium drug trade through China, and the largest company on earth at the time. Uh, they're behind the criminal agenda to create a new world order under a totalitarian global government. So, get down here. Their goals are the one world government, utter destruction of all national identity and national pride, the destruction of religion, and more especially Christian religion, with their own exception, their own creation mentioned above. I think I skipped over that, but we'll get to that later. Uh, Control of each and every person through means of mind control and what Brzezinski calls technotronics, which will create human-like robots and a system of terror. Into all industrialization and the production of nuclear-generated electric power. Legalization of drugs and pornography. Depopulation of large cities. And this is just number 7 on it, so I'm going to let Eric take it from here for a few minutes. Eric?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold off because my computer's acting crazy. I'm trying to get
Okay.
some stuff set up.
Okay.
So I apologize. Give me a second to get my links together.
Okay. No
I
problem.
don't think you're live yet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so
It's
it
live.
just came up.
Yeah. So, while we're waiting now, another one. Suppression of
Right.
all scientific development except for those deemed beneficial by the committee. Okay, go if you're ready, Eric. Go ahead. Is you ready?
Yes, just about.
Okay, doke. Um,
All right. It says, here is the committee of 300 members list for 2010. It says first of all, it was established. It was an established product of the British East Indian Company Council of 300. The East Indian Company was chartered by the British royal family in the 1600s. It made a vast fortunes in the opium drug trade with China and became the largest company on earth in its time. Today, through many powerful alliances, the Committee of 300 rules the world and is the driving force behind the criminal agenda to create a new world order under a totalitarian global government. Wow. And like I
yeah.
said, it says it's got 10 top aims. It says one is one world government, new world order. It says the utter destruction of all national identification and national pride, the destruction of religion, and more especially the Christian religion. And we'll get into why they want to use that, with the one exception, their own creation mentioned above, because they like to deal with that which is above.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? So let's go ahead and move to the good part where we actually cipher 300. So you know they came out with the movie 300, right?
Yes.
And it was about the Spartans being invaded by the Persians. Now, ancient history says yes, the Persians were black, and they were builders and they were conquerors. I mean, they were black archers. They were the ones that put in that darkness work, right? According to the show, according to the movie, right? But we want to know why would they use 300? So as you can see, the number three is their trinity or their triangle symbol, right? Which the triangle symbol or the pyramid symbol is the most popular symbol that is used in this committee of 300, right? We all know that that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at the two zeros, which would represent the 300, when you squeeze them together, it makes the Vesica Pisces or the Infinity 8, right? So I
Yeah,
looked at this
yeah,
as 3 and 8, right? So I said, wow, what's what's going on with the 3 and the 8? So you have a triangle and you have an infinity symbol. So I'm thinking you're talking about an infinity triangle. And that's what we see today, an infinite triangle symbol, right? You don't even have to look for the triangle anymore. It will find you. It's infinity. It's nothing we can do about it. And the number three is nothing but the number eight mirrored or flipped. If you look at the shape, the three is really an eight in its eighth experience, pretty much. Flipped over. It's a mirror eight. It's the same shape, but just flipped. So I begin to look at the Christian religion. And when you're dealing with Christian religion, you're dealing with Yahweh, right? That's one of the facts. You're dealing with Yahweh, so you're dealing with the Hebrew language. So also you're dealing with the Hebrew letters, which is 22 letters, and the number 22, it will have a whole lot to do with the code. So I begin to say, okay, how does this tie in with astrology? So I begin to look at the zodiac sign Gemini, right? Which is the third zodiac symbol. And it occurs between May 22nd, there's a 22, and June 21st, right? And it says, I think, and it's the key life phrase is I think. The zodiac tetum is the twins, and the zodiac symbol is as above. Remember what we talked about? They like to deal with the above stuff, right?
yeah,
And the zodiac element is the air. So okay, so there's your third one. So I said, okay, let's look at the eighth one, which is Scorpio, too cold Scorpio. And we know that the Scorpion King date back way before, like the early 3100 BC or 4100 BCs.
mhm,
The Scorpion King dates back real far. And the
yeah,
Scorpion deals with desire, right? So the key life phrase is I will, right? And as above is the symbol, and the zodiac element is water. So I said, okay, let's look at the 11th one, right? Because 8 plus 3 is 11, and that's Aquarius. And it says, I progress, right? Is the key phrase. The zodiac tetum is the water bearer, and the zodiac symbol is as above and air, right? So you
yeah,
got two airs and a water. The same way you got with the triangle, you got two sides are even and one is odd, right? So you can see the
yeah,
correlations. So when you put it all together, right, the Gemini says, I think, the Scorpion says, I will, and then the Aquarius says, I progress. So as I think,
mm,
I will, and I will progress, right? So this is the triangle that these committee of 300, be actually using. And now they say, well, we're in the age of Aquarius, right?
Mm.
That's what most scholars say. We're in the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
So when you look at 522 and 621, you get EVFU. And when you Google EVFU, you're going to find some stuff. I'm not going to get into that because it could take too long, right? So
Mm.
then when you look at the next one, right, which is 1024 or October the 24th through November 22nd, see, there's your second 22, right?
Mm.
Right? During your Scorpio, November 22nd, right? There's your second 22.
Yeah.
And then Aquarius, you can look at 121, right? 1 plus 21 is 22. There's
Yeah.
your third 22. So see, when you're looking at these numbers, they all add up pretty much to 22, because 22 is also 13. It's also 4, which is a doorway, right? To open
Mm.
up to whatever they want to introduce to you. Now these people, they use the triangle on the money.
Mm.
They use the triangle
Yes.
on the money to control the money. They even got a Martian on the back of the $1 bill named Renu or Ra-Nu
Mm.
when you decode his name, right? And then when you squeeze the dollar bill together, you will see the fish people because they deal with water and the water got fish in it, right?
Mm.
So then I looked at the 48 laws of power and I'm going to get ready to quit, right? So the third law says conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late. See, that's law number 3.
Mm.
Let's look at law number 8. 48 laws of power. It says, make other people, law number 8 says, make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. When you force the other people to act, you are the one in control. It is always better to make your opponent come to you, abandoning his own plans in the process, lure him with fabulous gain, then attack, you hold the cards. Come on, y'all. It's in the laws,
Yes, it
right?
is.
So let's look at 11. When we add 8 and 3 together, we get 11, right? And number 11 says, learn to keep people dependent on you. To maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. The more you are relied on, the more freedom you have. Make people depend on you for their happiness and prosperity, and you have nothing to fear. Never teach them enough so they can do without you. And that's your 3811 power laws, which equal up to 22. And when you look at the 22 law, wait for it, it says concentrate your forces. Conserve your forces and energies by keeping them concentrated at their strongest points. That's why you got that triangle. You gain more by filling a rich mine and mining in deeper than by flitting from one shallow mine to another. Intensity defeats intensity every time. Wow. When looking for sources of power to 11, you have found the one key patron, the fat cow who will give you milk for a long time to come. See, and this is why they worship the cow
Mm.
or the bull.
Yeah.
All right, I digress.
Yeah, they seem to be fixated on certain kinds of animals too.
Yes.
So I was thinking how I begin to look at my own city, right? And how we have a Freemasonry building at 8300 St. Charles, a Scottish Rite Freemasonry building, 8300 Charles Street. So there's your 8 and 3 and your two zeros or your physical Pisces all over again, right there on Charles Street. So when I begin to look at St. Charles as a person, I begin to find that every time one was initiated during the Council of Trent, I think that's what it's called, they all was doing something around these dates. A matter of fact, one of the African St. Charles of Luna, he was killed during June the 1st during the Scorpio ring. I mean during the Gemini time. So it's like, yeah, they use these dates, and if we go back and track back what has happened during these cycles of time, we'll find a whole lot of laws being changed. You'll find a whole lot of killing. You'll find Freddie Gray in Baltimore because you Baltimore's, and they say ask a Merlin Mason. This is a Masonic state. Merlin is a Masonic state. Baltimore, so whatever you want to call it, Moors or Masons, it's still the same thing. They got the same science that they use. So that's why we got 8300 St. Charles Street, Scottish Rite Freemasonry building in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yep.
And I looked up the word masonry, and it says stone worker or Freemasonry. So you're looking at just some builders, some people that deal with brick and mortar. And like we talked about in the back rooms, they're not really dealing with brick and mortar anymore. They still building cathedrals and stuff like that, but it's more so of a reconstruction of one's mind. And if the Freemasonry science is not reconstructing your mind to develop security for your family, your food, and your shelter, then you're not using the science for what it was developed for in its origin.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it was developed for in its origin, to develop culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they want it. Mm.
Yep. So it seemed to me it's going to always be a test of time, because when I did my ancient history, and Graham, shout out to GM, that always talk about the pharaohs,
Yes.
so I went back to the first dynasty, 3100 BC, and you find Narmer. You find the first King Narmer, and it's called the Narmer Palace, and how he used Freemasonry science to build ancient Kemet, to build pillars, to build towers, to build statues. It was just brick and mortar at that time.
Mm. Not anymore.
Uh, See, we
Certainly
the
not.
brick and the mortar.
Right.
It's a brick house. Remember the song came out? She is a brick
Uh-huh.
house. That's a Freemasonry song.
Yep.
Because you're talking about the queens of Egypt, the Queen of Sheba, Nefertari. So in some case they say, well, the science was stolen, and like I said earlier, it wasn't stolen. It's because of the Pharaoh Tutmosis and Atmos expanded the borders. So now that the borders were expanded from ancient Egypt and ancient Kemet to the Sudans and different areas like that, like, yeah, you was able to navigate your ships and use those compasses to come in and invade. The real space invaders invaded ancient Kemet to get this science. That's why you got ISIS now,
Yeah.
right? And what are the colors? Black and white. So when you look at the almond rod temples, well, no, not the almond rod temples, the almond opes, the tombs of nobles, you find the checkerboard being used. In the tombs of nobles, in the Armanepi. Yeah, that's what it says. In the Armanepi, in the tombs of nobles, you'll find the checkerboard being used. It's ancient culture. It's ancient. That's why Grim was right. The pharaohs had always had their hand in it, but then when the Ptolemies and the Alexander the Greats came in, they did something completely different with it. They created Christianity out of it with Emperor Constantine and worship of Serapis or Apollo, the sun god. So it's just like, yeah, people they took what was great for all of us and turned it into something evil and created a committee that's only of 300. Like it's you only committed to 300. When your bloodline is way bigger than that. Your bloodline traced way back to these people.
Mhm.
I mean, whether if you was raped or pillaged or whatever it was, you still got it from these people.
Mhm.
Ren was right.
Yep.
Ren was right.
The
But what you do
bloodlines.
with the knowledge, what you do with it is what makes the difference.
Yeah. And the bloodlines we know about, that's just scratching the surface. That's what we're doing. It's just merely scratching the surface. These are just the people they want us to know about. You know, too. So,
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some really fantastic people above them.
oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Audience, I hope you detected my sarcasm.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I think they put obviously they put these people out there so you're spinning around in circles worrying
Mhm.
about that instead of
Yeah.
what's going off to one side or the other.
Mhm. No doubt.
What is this?
Uh, Eric got booted. Uh,
I'm having some goofy issues too.
Not yet. So,
Well, for some reason it's not like letting me click on certain things, and I don't know what the deal is. Sorry.
that's okay.
Um, Was he having some technical issues or?
He must be. So he just dropped. So, uh, anywho,
Well, doesn't that beat all? I mean,
I know.
I shared the hell out of your show, and now we're having technical issues.
Hey man, it happens. It, it ain't the first, ain't the last. So, there he is back.
Hey, the whole computer crashed. That shit turned blue, black, orange.
Oh man.
They said the Truth of Life would not be speaking that shit today.
They're trying to censor us.
They said not today. But you can call me on the cell phone. Hell yeah, I got motherfucking backup. Yeah, but like I was saying, like, shout out to the Almond Raw, shout out to SETI. Because the African bloodlines of the Ramsey the first, the second, and the third, they have a whole lot to do with what's going on. Because you find the Ramses in the Bible, right? Yeah, you find them in the vanity books. Because we know that we're dealing with Egyptian papyrus when you're dealing with these books, right? When you're dealing with these books, it's mostly Egyptian papyrus, and most of it comes from Egypt. So these people that are in control. See, that's why you got a carving. That's why you got a carving of Obama inside the caves, predating him. He said, "Shit, that looks like me," because it is you. Because it is you. It is you. Because in some cases, the reincarnation process is like the universe used their own 3D printing. That's why we have so many Doppler lookalikes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, not unless you DNA swapping. No, I don't doubt that either. You could be
Oh,
talking about some shit.
yeah.
That's what you was talking about earlier, and that's some transhumanism, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and
It's
we
a,
know it,
I was gonna
and we
say
know.
from looking at old photographs, yeah, I've seen um, people that look very similar to, or almost the exact same to people you see today. Whether it be
Yeah.
friends or family or famous people or whatever. It's almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
carbon copies.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how much of this really is intentional or all by design.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. Oh no. It's by design, because when you look at the alphabet, for one thing, the letter Z used to be where the letter G was, and they moved that motherfucker back. So this is a design. It is a design. When you move from 22 to 24, and the 22nd letter of the alphabet is the letter V for Vatican.
Mhm.
That's what's important about the 22. It is the letter V. And the V is the biggest symbol that they use, right? Even though I got the P symbol, it's still the symbol of V or 22,
Yeah.
right? They'll put it down and say it's Atlanta, but it's still a down V. I mean, you see the V symbol on a Dow Jones, right? So they tell you it's a
Yeah.
W, but it's really two V's put together. A W is an M upside downwards. That's the shape of a U. That's the real
Yeah.
W. Right.
Yeah.
So a W is really two V's put together. So they done mirrored the letters side by side, 22 to 23. They ain't changed shit. They just put two of them together. They put the squeeze mode on you the same way with the Vesica Pisces.
Mm.
It's in the alphabet code. The alphabet, sometimes it tells it. Like I said, when you're dealing with Hebrew, you're dealing with 22, and you're dealing with Vatican. It's
Yeah.
22nd letter. So we got to always be mindful when we see 22 and 44, the law of 44, the mirror law. I ain't even getting to that one, but if you study the 48 laws of power, you'll see that it's also being used because we got what, a 44th president, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about some of these things before. So it's like when they had the Assyrian invaders and different ones invading Kemet, and some of the kings of the fourth and the fifth dynasty began to rise up, you know,
Yeah.
to take back the land and the resources. It's just like that's why they over in Africa and Cairo and different places now, because they still packing shit, you know. They find more and more and more stuff about our shit, and it's our shit. And they'll take our stuff and then use it against us.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were symbols for the people. I mean, you gotta understand what I'm saying. A triangle is a symbol for people. It's family. It's mother, father, and child. So when you're
Yeah.
dealing with that, and then you put an infinity beside it, right? You talking about infinity family,
Yeah.
right? That's our shit. That's for the people. But they're using it for their commitment, you know. So being that we know the origin of it, are we committed to our family infinity?
Mm.
How far do our family commitment go? Let's bring this thing home for 5 seconds. How far do our family commitment goes? You know, we all deal with the gas cycle of Gemini, Aquarius, and Scorpion, but how far do our family commitment go? They gave us a
Yeah.
birthday. They gave us a symbol. They gave us a sign. They told you was Libra because you born September 23rd,
Mm.
right? That
Yep.
shit is created for me. That's not my own creation. That's prepared for me. That's a table. It said the table is prepared for you, right? All right. So the God or the God elves have been preparing tables forever through these beings. Yeah, these ain't nothing but prepared tables for us to eat at. In the old days they say, well, you eat the fish and you throw the bones away, brother Eric. You eat the meat and you throw the bones
Yeah.
away, brother Eric. Like I shouldn't be eating the fish or the meat either if the shit is not true,
Mhm.
sister. So yeah, when people are indoctrinating you, they're also controlling you, like the law number 3 says, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I put that shit on your ass and keep you needing me. You will never be free. That's why it's called Freemasonry, right? Because they'll lock
Yeah.
you in a box. In this day and time, not the origin, but in this day and time, you'll be locked in your square. You think you're standing in your square or standing in your circle at 90 degrees, or you standing in your square at 90 degrees. Let's just talk Freemasonry for a second,
Mhm.
right? You think you're standing there, but are you really being recognized? Everybody's holding this shape in their hand now, this diamond shape, fingers locked and thumbs up together. You see the symbol everywhere. You can't
Oh
even
yeah.
do
Yeah.
this without even holding the symbol up. That's Egypt. That's Kemet. You still
Yeah.
using the old shit because you know it works. For one thing, it creates fear if you don't understand it. Yeah, look at our press play button. It's in a triangle, right?
Yes.
Some of it's either really in your face or really soft
Yeah.
subliminal
Mm.
suggestion.
Don't be afraid of that which is you, though. This is what I'm saying. Break away from we want to get free from it, from the commitment of 300. Hey, let's know that this is us. This is our shit. Let's reclaim our symbols and use them for our infinity. This is what I'm talking about. This is our shit. The bloodline stops at us.
Mm.
Fuck that. It stops at us. We need to take it back and have our own
Yes.
committee and our own commitment of millions and billions. Not no just no 300.
Yeah.
Take back our lifestyle. That's all I'm saying. I digress.
Mm.
Trying to get
Well,
back
yeah,
on the main.
that's whether directly or indirectly. Too many people still consent to it.
Right. Not
Yeah.
knowing. Not knowing. Because that's what I was asking Nancy in the back room. I was like, are we making secret commitments and don't even really know it, even though he didn't respond because he was busy. But yeah, What are we really secretly doing when we holding these Jay-Z symbols up, or these three sixes? Are you really putting out six neutrons, six protons, six electrons, or are you on some other shit? You know, are you doing the pen, protons, electrons, and neutrons? You know, what are you putting up when you holding up your sixes? You know, what are you thinking about when you holding up a triangle, right? Because some people do it unbeknowingly. My grandma used to fiddle her thumbs, right? Holding the same symbol when I was a kid. Didn't have no idea. I should say, Mom, Grandma, why you fiddling your thumbs? You know? She would always cross her hands and fiddle her thumbs. But now it ain't about the thumb fiddling anymore. It's about holding that thumb together. It's about pinning them things together now. Because in the Freemason handshake, the thumb is the one that locks it down. In your apprentice handshake. Either they cover you or they go under. Either way, that thumb locks it down next to that knuckle. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Right. The handshake, the hidden hand is a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to a flag. Oh, put your right hand on your heart and swear. Okay, this is Masonic. Period. I don't care. This is taught to your children at 5 years old. Recognize.
Yes.
Recognize. They're teaching you Freemasonry. Recognize it. You ain't getting away from it. Because that's the science that helped create America.
Yes, it is.
They used the compass to navigate the ships. They used the science to do it.
Well, if you look at a sextant that they used for the astronomical thing back then, that's also kind of a triangle shape or a pyramid shape or a compass shape.
Yeah. Eric, you're in twice.
Yeah, yeah. The other one to die out soon, right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because everybody knows that my computer do got a virus on it. It's like, don't forget the virus, Eric. All right.
My computer's having issues. Not my other computer. uh,
Here, I'll send you a link to something you might want to run later.
okay.
It it's a free app, or not app, but thing.
Cool. There you go, Eric.
Okay. Yeah, we back. So, I even looked at like doing my studies. You find Beth Golgotha, right?
Yeah.
Of Liberia, Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all caught that name, but Beth Golgotha, and he would use the cross that would establish the Knights Templar, right? It's one of the first symbols of the cross being held that would later on establish a cross for the Knights Templar. The cross dates way back before Europe was even thought about. Yeah, like I said, Grimm was totally right when he mentioned the pharaohs. It's true, but what are we going to do with it now? Because we are the ancient pharaohs of Egypt. and of Kemet. I could be pressing some buttons here, but yeah, we represent that. We represent that seed now, right? So what are we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
You know, you know, what are we gonna do with it? Because it's ancient information. It's available for everybody to be successful by. But you know, why just let the Rockefellers benefit from this, right?
Right.
I don't know. I think you got to make your own decision for your own self, for what works for you.
Yes.
You know, because I remember Bruce Silvers when I went to Coons, and he was like, "EVZ, what's up?" And I was like, "What's going on, man?" He was like, "Man, I just went and got my 33rd degree Freemasonry." He showed with a tattoo on the back of his neck and
Yeah.
his rings and all this other kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really into it. So then one of the Volvo guys come around there and I was like, yeah, back in the day we really couldn't go inside y'all red door rooms because they were segregated. They was pretty much segregated, right? It was
Yeah.
Freemason segregation. So the guy said, yeah, you wouldn't want to go in one of Bruce rooms, just making it funny or whatever like that. But yeah, these guys are the same person. He the same person I knew, way before he went through this initiation. And I'm wondering what could be different right now outside of him knowing a few more secrets that you may can't Google about. You know, I don't
And
know. Could
well,
they
yeah.
all be evil? Uh,
Well, here's somebody that's on the list. Uh, Joseph Safra, the richest banker on the planet. He's worth 13.8 billion. This was in 2012. This article. Uh, so he lives in Brazil, but was born in Beirut to a Jewish family, banking family whose wealth dates back to the Ottoman Empire. Um, so he's a big business person there. He's on the committee, and his bloodline goes back to the Ottoman Empire. So there you go, the bloodline. Uh,
yeah,
so
there it is. And like I said, I seen Colin Powell name on there, Warren Buffett. Because I got the committee, the membership list, right?
yeah,
That's what I'm looking at. And you'd be surprised at the people that's on here.
oh yeah,
You'd be shocked who's in those rooms, who's in those meetings.
hmm
George W. H. Bush and David Cameron, Peter Carrington,
yeah.
Charles Prince of Wales.
I mean, and there's some on there that have
And,
died, but they've obviously been replaced. So
yeah, well, Bill Clinton,
yep,
Ronald Cohen, Gary Cohen.
Mario Draghi, Draghi. He's the chair of the group of governors and head of supervision at the Bank of International Settlements since June 2013.
Check this out. Constantine II, King of Greece.
Yeah, all the royals are in there. So
Yeah. Constantine, Prince of the Netherlands.
yep,
Right. That's why the Bible is got all of those Freemason symbols in there. Jesus died at 32 and resurrected 33 or something like that. He go through his degrees. You got 12 disciples, 1 through 12. That's a form of degrees because the 13 through 18 is another set. 18 through 30 is another set. They got different sets. Al Gore. Sir Philip Hampton, all these real important people. Henry Kissinger,
Michael Bloomberg.
yeah, Bloomberg, I see him in there.
Bloomberg. Yeah.
Michael Levy, because they thought all of them would be Jewish, but like no, no, you got everybody here. All types of walks of people. People come from everywhere to be committed to 300. Charles Napoleon, Rupert Murdoch,
Alan Greenspan.
Alan Greenspan. Like yeah, and Fred Sanford them used him as a funny joke on Sanford and Son back in the day, right? So you would think
Yeah.
Alan Greenspan was a pretty good guy, or Barry Goldwater was a pretty good guy when you see him roasting Dean Martin and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Then these people are on your side. David Rockefeller Jr., Rockefeller Sr., Nicholas Rockefeller, John Pierre Roth, Jacob Rothschild, David Rupstein, Rubenstein, got everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to have that money. You got to already be established to be on this list. These ain't no nobodies.
Nope, they're not.
William Prince of Wales. I don't think I seen Obama name on here.
Oh, see, this is an old list. It's probably been
That's an old
revised a
list.
few times since then. So, you know,
And they call them the Olympians, right? The House of
yes,
Olympians.
the Olympian.
Yeah. But we know what the Olympians and the Titans did, right? You dealt with
Yep.
rules, you know. So let's look at the movie Titans real quick, and think about how they carried it. It was one point in the movie where they said, "Hey, we're not getting involved with the humans, right? Let them
Right.
deal with their own shit. And if I catch anybody doing it, I'm gonna kill you." So yeah, they made pledges to kill their own, right? Just in that one scene. If you help out, I'll kill you. And he struck one of them down. Zeus struck one of them down. So yeah, we can never look forward to them helping us. They're not committed to helping us.
No.
You're a committee, but you're only a committee of self. Cheeseburger. What's up to the chat room? You know, like I talked about earlier in the back rooms. It's like when you're using the pillars. They always had pillars. So in the Matrix, they gave us red pillar and blue pillar
Yes.
and get you to choose one. You know, so they're dealing with a whole grand architect type of matrix that we're in right now. These are the grand architects because they are the new builders. See, Imhotep was a grand master builder back in the early BCs, right? He was a step pyramid builder. Imhotep. King Hotep Shikami, the first king of the second dynasty, was a step pyramid builder. The pharaoh, The Joseph, the Zora, he was a step pyramid builder. So it's just like, okay, what are they doing now? Right? Because they got all these steps in pyramid building, right? They got 13 steps on the pyramid to go up in Freemasonry. And three is a master mason number, right? So
Yes.
when you look at 300 and you stretch it out, it makes a cane, right? So the key word to Freemasonry is tuba cane. That's how I ask you if you're a Freemason or Master Mason or not, right? It's
Yeah.
based on how you respond to me asking you or me mentioning tuba cane.
Yeah.
So you got two balls and a cane. It ain't hard. 007 is tuba cane. They got symbols where you got a circle or a zero, a slash, and then another zero. That's still tuba cane. So yeah, when you stretch the three out, it's really a one. It's really tuba cane, and that's what they did. And also in the last what gods of the last movie with Moses, I mean with Noah in the flood, he dealt with Tuba King Smith, and he's in the Bible. They were builders, they were blacksmiths, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's all in the books, and it's all Egyptian papyrus. So yeah, that's why they hold up them threes because that's the number. It's so important. Three is the master mason number. Which
Well,
is an upside down M, which is really an M2 because the M is 13th letter of the alphabet. That's why it's called the moo. When you turn the three over, it says moo, right? It's the cow.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna break some shit down today.
Shit.
well, it's like in that prepper patriot community, they use that 3 percenter flag, and it's Roman numerals, and that's what it is, 3 pillars. I don't think a lot of them get it or understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I can't for the life of me. None of them can give me a real answer of where that even came up. How they even came up with that.
Yep, the ancient is Kemet. The answer is Kemet because they was building pillars way back in the 19th dynasty. It's called Amun Ra temples of Connaught pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Amun Ra temples, Connaught pillars. 19th dynasty under Pharaoh Seti. Amun Ra temples, 19th dynasty, Connaught pillars. That's where they got that shit built from. So when you go to Armando Reels, I said Armando Reels, Armando Mills in Baltimore, Maryland, you see the Egyptian theater. And it's got nothing but pillars around. It's got six
Yeah.
pillars in the front of it, and it's got a statue of Horus. So when the sun rises over there in the morning, it rises on Horus. I mean, some things are real simple, and you build that shit based upon the geological, astronomical of the cosmos. The way the pyramids and the Sphinx is set up, you build the other stuff the way the Sphinx and the pyramids are set up. So when you're looking at it from an Earth Google view, you will see the symbol as it is. So it goes back to the blind man, right? When Jesus said, "How do you see men? I see them as trees." And then when he slapped them again, he said, "How do you see them? I see them as they are, raw. I see them as they are." So yeah, then you get a clear version of what it is, But you got to deal with the two pillars. The first pillar only saw trees. The second time he hit him was for duality. He saw it as it was, you know. So yeah,
Yep.
it's in there. It's in them books. It's hidden secrets. It's hidden codes. That's why, like I said earlier, Samson was the strong man Samson who was deceived by Delilah for the strength of his head, right? They put him in between two pillows. And like I said, before you can enter into any Freemasonry building or facility, you got to cross those two pillars. So that's where they put the blind man there in between two pillars. Samson, the Samson.
Lots of wordplay.
Yeah, that's what I do. I deal with wordplay.
Well, no, I meant that how they you're breaking down what what it really means, how they are stick it in your face, but trying to make you figure it out at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think they put Jesus in a tomb? His real father ain't show up. They grabbed a priest or somebody named Joseph of Arimathea, and they put Jesus in a tomb. They wrapped him up, they mummified him, and they put him in a tomb. That's Egyptian. The Christian philosophy, they didn't bury you like that. They wasn't tomb raiders. You gotta think about that, man. The Bible says my son came out of Egypt. What do you think it's talking about? The information of the son came out of Egypt. Not the person, but the son. The information of the son came out of Egypt. You see what I'm saying? Slow it down. And she got booted.
Yeah, I think she did.
I'm getting too close to the truth. Let me mute it then.
Hopefully she'll be back soon.
Hopefully, man, because this is the best show on Google right now. And not because I'm on here, it's because of the topic.
No, I agree.
Who's committed and who's not? We're talking about a bloodline. And bloodlines have always mattered, even if when you look into those books. The bloodline of Abraham and Sarah, even though they was tightly close, like stepbrother and stepsister, but they had a child based upon that bloodline. The Ptolemies did the same thing. They did interrelationship sex to keep the bloodline close because they understood bloodline. The Mongoloids and stuff like that came later, but yeah, they understood bloodline. Finally, Rebecca's come back to Google Live. Yeah. When you talk about going full circle, they have. They have brought some shit from the BCs, y'all, before Common Era to right now in Addo Dominium. And who's running the kingdom right now? Who's the pharaoh right now? It's probably the queen. She running the show. The same way Cleopatra ran the show back in the day.
She having a
Yeah,
problem with her mic?
Uh, yeah, yeah. Can y'all hear me?
yeah, you
Yeah.
coming in good.
Okay, okay. I'm back.
Glad to have
Yeah,
you back.
I lost my internet there for a minute. So yeah.
Dang, yeah, like I said, this is a hot show. They do not want. We already know what they don't want, but we're gonna get. They're gonna get this work. You're gonna get this work today. You're gonna get this work. You know, you know, gonna get this work. Yeah, but yeah. Even when I look back at the early first dynasty, like even the Norma palace, it was still about control. You know,
Yeah.
even though I'm controlling Upper Egypt, you know, I'm pretty much protecting it, right? I build these pillars to protect, right? I build these towers to protect. You know, I build these walls to protect. You know, in some cases, I'm keeping you hostage in and keeping some folks out. We're saying what we got building these houses and apartments right now. This is Freemasonry. Where you live at is based upon Freemasonry. If you got an arch or a triangle on your shit or a square, yeah, this is the way your houses is built. It's all based upon the same science of the 3100 BCs. The way your car is constructed is based upon Freemason science. The way everything is constructed is based upon angles and straight lines, circles and straight lines, pretty much the binary of everything, the real shapes. Because before you get an alphabet, you got to get a shape,
Yeah.
right? So what is the shape? Lines and curves.
Mm.
Yeah,
What I was watching some that a lot of them that are higher ups, they'll put a an obelisk in front of their house. It's kind of a kind of a let each other know who's who.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Because oh yeah, it's like I was saying, like you know, like they even got like the right hand of fellowship and in church, you know, where you go around shaking hands on agreements and you know, like it ain't so much a secret anymore. You know, you would thought it was stay a secret forever, but who you think opened these doors for us to learn about these committees? You know, why would they give
Yeah.
us the
Yeah.
information now? Because they figured that we can't really. They had been deceiving us, like the law, power law says that by the time you wake up, you won't even realize what the fuck happened to you because of everything else. By the time you realize it, it's too late. Are we in that too late day? Or is it still time to delete the elite?
It's still time. I just need to get on the ball, people. Wake up.
Well, that's where the individual, you, me, people in the chat room, where that's where they need to exercise their power of not consenting to it anymore. If
Yes.
you any of these stories where it talks about evil or whatever, the theme is you have to consent to it. You have to invite it in.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it can't
It
really
has no power.
affect you or take you over or control you.
That's right. It's the vampire rule.
Right.
Right.
And that has always been the universal rule. Except I invite you in, you can't come in. So how many invites have we sent out, not knowing that we sent them out? Do the universe have an invitation that you don't even know about, where shit just show up on your front door unexpectedly? Let's bang on it. Who's running the shit? Is it the God L sending us the bullshit to deal with? You would think Jesus would come in. They say fix it, Jesus, like you said you would. I'd be glad when he pull out his fucking tools and start fixing some shit. Because all these songs say that you're supposed to be doing something, but hey, we don't see nothing but us down here. That's why it's just us in English. It ain't no Jesus. It's just us.
Yep.
We Jesus. You Jesus. I'm Jesus. That's who it is.
Just
Because who's being
only
crucified?
we can
Us.
only we can save ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Save yourself. But who's being crucified? Who's being put on the cross? Us.
Mm,
In one form or another. You know? Who's getting slain? Nobody but the people. You know,
yep.
we got tired of spending money, so we started downloading shit. And y'all said, "Oh hell no!" You know how much fucking records cost? I mean, you gotta look back. You gotta look at
Yeah.
the Temptations movie, right? Where he said,
Yeah.
"Okay, do you like the record? Everybody think it's a hit, right? But if he asked a question, if you had $1, would you buy you a sandwich or buy you a record? The people holler, give me the fucking sandwich. You know, so we just began
Yeah.
to just do other things with our money or without money, you know, and then that became illegal. Like, nah, you can't be downloading that because the artists ain't getting no money. Hey, they ain't been getting no money from the industry anyway because you own their masters. You are the master.
Yeah.
So it ain't like it ain't. Matter of fact, we've been giving them. They've been supported off of our money for decades. We've been buying albums and buying records and buying 8 tracks and buying all other kind of shit just to keep the industry at afloat. And then soon as we want to download some free shit, there is a problem. You know, the committee got a problem then. The pharaohs got a problem then. Yeah. It's just like who's wearing the hat now? Who's wearing the pharaoh hat now? The Pope, right? The Pope got the same hat that the pharaohs used to wear back in the day.
Yes.
Some things are clear face. Some things are
Mhm.
bad face.
Mm.
Yeah, who's wearing the hat? You know, the numbers don't lie. You know, when they go back to the future, they went back to the future and recreated some future past shit. That's what we're dealing with. X-Men Future Past. That's why they brought back ISIS, Emotet. I mean, you gotta look at the movie The Mummy. You know, they brought in the Scorpion King, right?
Mm.
Dwayne Johnson, the Scorpion King, yeah. And the Scorpion King is a Scorpio, you know, which is dated between 1024 and 1122. And it is the eighth symbol of the zodiac sign. It is the infinity symbol of the zodiac sign. It is based upon desire. As I think, as I will. Yeah, I think it's as I will. As I think, as I will, I progress. Right. So Scorpio is on some as I will shit. Will I am. You know, it all ties to astrology. Trust me, they're using every symbol. They grabbing every frequency that is possible now, right? And when they're done with the organic shit, they will create. Matter of fact, they're creating artificial shit out of that, which is organic, just in case it runs out. That's why they got you holding up the triangle, just in case they can't tap into a real pyramid. They got the energy from your ass. Yeah, and they'll use our celebrities. I'll put it out there. They'll use our celebrities to push it.
Hmm.
They'll use BET and Chris Brown to dance in front of the black and white checkered pyramid, even though it dates back to Almond Ra temples,
Yes.
but they're using it now to promote their shit.
And
They're making
exact
money off of our origins.
and the kids see this and they think it's cool, so they get involved in it, and then they don't even really know what the hell they're doing.
Right. Talking about calling people up, talking about I want to join the Illuminati. And you sacrificing your cousin and you doing all this other kind of shit because you want a couple of dollars. Hey, self-made millionaire programs are everywhere. Motivational speakers are everywhere. It's many ways for you to get that money as opposed to you giving up your integrity and your noble rights as a human being. Because if you get inside of any order, they're gonna tell you what to do, whether if it's church, Freemasonry, Moors, or whatever, Hebrew Israelites, somebody else is telling you what to do. You always got a captain and to kneel. Get it? Captain to kneel. Slow it
Yes.
down. Captain to kneel. Slow it down. See, shout out to LH Lost Horizon 52. I see Grim in the
Yes.
place.
Hey, everybody in the chat.
Big brother back.
And Psy Anarchy, hello. Uh, yeah, you're the elite, the bloodlines. That's a very good work. So you're, yes, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mysterious Labyrinth, Mr. X-Man, Rules. I think I've got everybody. Murph was in earlier. Laz, Babez. That's as far as I go there. So.
Yeah. I was just wondering, right? Because like I said, I did the gas cycle with the Gemini, Aquarius, and Scorpion, and then I
Mhm.
began to look at the code. 8 times 3 is 24, so 6 is F and X is and 24 is X. So we came up with the Federal Exchange, which they run the money through China and Japan. They run everything under this 183 code or this Infinity 3 code secretly, right? So yeah, they doing it big. They know how to use these numbers and letters to control shit. You know,
Yes, they do.
and they bold. They bold with that shit. They even got videos of Bilderbergs putting in that work. Now, who would send out some shit like that, right? If I'm really a secret society, you think I would let Alex Jones or someone like that videotape some shit? No.
Mm.
So if you're allowed to go inside those rooms, it's because you already have packs inside those rooms, and you are only making it public information. You're Pontius Pilate right now. You're washing your hands. This is why the information is available, because they have washed their hands with it and moved on to some other shit. The information that we're talking about is what we call left behind. We're talking about the information that is left behind. Because they on some other shit, trust me. We talking about some left behind shit. We on some yesterday's news. Like you said, even my dates are upgraded. I got a 2010 committee of 300, and this is 2016, so I'm outdated. Yeah. And then when you look at like I said, the planets that rule the gas cycle, you'll find a whole different perspective on that. The Gemini, Aquarius, and Scorpion. I call it the gas cycle because most of our events and tragedies has happened during these times. They killed Kennedy 11/22, right? Exactly, which is 33. 11 plus 22 is 33, which is the capital letter G. And that's in between your Freemason symbol. It's the 33rd letter of the alphabet, capital G.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they killed Kennedy on a capital G day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 11/22, which is nothing but a do-over of the same numbers. 11/11. So then they came out with 7/11 and put that shit everywhere, right? You got 7 days and 11 cycles. 7/11. Oh yeah. They created the ley lines. We didn't.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, think about it. This shit is already pre-prepared. This is their reality that we are living in. It's not our reality. This is their reality. The clothes that we wear is their reality. The food that we eat, the cars that we drive, everything is their reality. It's not ours.
Mm.
It's not ours. You know, it's going to be real hard to be indigenous now. I'm serious. Not unless you, I mean, if you birthing something like a child, or whatever, you can say, yeah, that's mine. But then you look at what happens after the child come out. You pretty much turn them over to the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Automatically. That's why it's called a doctor, and you dock in, and you got to go through customs, right? You got to go through customs. You got to make sure you clear. They put your ass under that light, and they check you out. They put your baby through customs. Give him all kind of shots and all kind of stuff just so he can survive in this atmosphere. Even though we out of space, they still put you through a whole lot of other shit to survive in the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the facts. Just the facts. So yeah, Pharaoh's been ruling forever, and they always will rule. But it's all about who's got the head and who's got the scepter. Who's got Horus staff now, right? That's what we got to consider. Who's holding Horus's staff now? Who's got Seti's the Pope. And when you hold that kind of power, you can initiate your successor. That's what it says about the Committee of 300. They can create their own successors. You know, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put you up next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they've been pushing Donald Trump a long time ago. Obama said, Trump, you can be president at one of his State of the Union addresses, one of them fucking lunches. You know, yeah, yeah, and you can really see the hunger and the thirst in these people when they came to conquer Kemet. And that's all they're doing right now is the continuing of the conquering. And now that America, which is America, which is really, I don't even really want to get into that, but yeah, it's on some African shit. Yeah, now you're conquering it all over again. You know, with all new rules and all new regulation. You know, they control the military. I thought the military was for us. It's your sons and daughters, right? It's our sons and daughters that create the military. You're talking about you doing things to protect America. Well, why are you way over there?
I know, right?
You know, as if they got flight reservations and all that other kind of shit to just fly over here. You know, we all in Yemen, and you know, just every fucking where holding it down. And we say they're doing it to protect us in America. Like, but what is our threat? Do you know? Is ISIS in North Carolina where you at? Is that the threat to
I don't
you?
know. They say
You
they're
know,
everywhere. So,
is ISIS in California where Grim is and everybody else? Is ISIS in North Carolina where you at? Is that the threat to
I
you?
don't know.
Little reverb. I'm coming in good. Coming in twice. Yeah. What's really going on? I'll be right back. Somebody else can come in here and do their thing.
Well, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I just have to have a couple of swigs of beer first. Hello, people. Not sure if this is working. Oh yeah, I've got a signal there.
Well, I'm working on it. I'm working
Oh no,
on it.
I've got. I'm listening to myself now. That's why I have to pause that. Right, sort that out. Got that part right. Oh, yeah, no. I was listening to Mr. I think it's Truth of Life. It says there if it was him that was speaking, and yeah, a lot of what he's saying makes sense to me. Very familiar thoughts, really. I mean, words that come to mind are, watch the great plan unfold before us as they manufacture things like ISIS. Well, the word ISIS was mentioned. Um, uh, Quite interesting that ISIS is also a figure in Egyptian mythology, so you might want to look into that in this context from an esoteric kind of angle. But then you also have works by Blavatsky, as in ISIS Unveiled is another place where ISIS is mentioned, and they've got all these different versions of it. You've got your flipping ISIS, your alleged ISIS, and you've got your ISIL, and then you've got your IS. They keep going on about IS up here in Norway a lot, or in Scandinavia generally speaking, and yeah, they keep having these alleged threats, which they use to justify arming the police forces here in Norway, and it seems to be possibly happening in other places as well. I really haven't, I expect it. I haven't checked so much because, I mean, once you kind of get the gist of the general plan here, the elite's plan for us, then it's pretty obvious that they want a global police force, all with flipping open carry and all the rest of it. So it's that old repeating scenario of laws being introduced in several different places on the planet simultaneously, all at the same time, sort of thing, which when you see it happening several times and you look for the sources of these statutes and all this going on, you'll find that usually it all comes from the same source. So, and this ain't no theory. Ain't no theory, geezer. Oh, there's that geezer. It's him. Hello. Where's your guitar?
What's up, Vance?
Hey, I didn't know anybody could see me yet. Am I not in the I'm out of the box.
I have to
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wanted to listen in.
Oh, well, please interrupt me because I need another swig of beer. I need to drink beer to do this now. I mean, it's not. I don't recommend it or anything to others. You know, if you have your solution other than beer,
Yeah.
you'll need that solution too. In the the way this world is going.
Yep, depression is actually a natural reaction to a fucked up
To a
environment, right?
Yeah, that's what I keep trying to tell people in almost exactly the same words. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, they don't remind you of that in psychiatry, where they're trying to avoid the
Always working
actual
on you.
cause of your, because you don't want to get to the cause of the problem. You might be able to fix it then or something.
Yeah, we want to get to a paid treatment where you'll never be fixed and that you will appreciate me for something that isn't getting done that you believe is.
I still,
Psychiatry.
yeah. No, I've said it to several people. Show me a single, I mean, it's just something that came into my mind because it occurred to me that I've never met a single person in my life that, in my opinion, has ever been cured of anything via psychiatry. But then I was just having a snooze today and listening to a clip on YouTube, and the same thing was mentioned actually. So I thought, yeah. So it wasn't just me thinking that either. It's nice to feel less alone and notice that there are actually others like yourself. You dazzled me with your vaccine knowledge the last time we bumped into each other, and you whipped out your guitar. So I don't know if you remember me.
Yeah. Sounds like me.
Right. Good. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I was just listening to another fellow who was talking just before you turned up, and then he kind of swiveled off, and nobody was saying anything, so I just kind of spontaneously dropped in here.
Yeah, that was quite a nice little monologue.
Yes, thanks, Eric. And David?
But, yeah, ISIS is the way I look at all of that. What you were to go back to what you were talking about. The way I look at the whole ISIS thing is, for one, there's power in the way in pronunciation, as far as like in memory or the kind of impression that the word sends to you, and that's why I think they're using that. It's a focal, getting a mass attention, mass focal. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can focus the intent, and that way they can more easily control your rationale because they know what lines you're thinking in. So it's a paradigm that they can control that way. And I think people can understand that the royals are doing the same thing to all of the countries that are even fighting each other. They might start to realize, oh, okay, so they're all doing the same thing to even each other and their own populations. Wait a minute, and every one of them has two propaganda machines: the propaganda machine of in itself that it tells to its own people, and the propaganda machine that it spits out, which is a different story, to the others, like the U.S. right now is doing. The U.S. is run by the Committee of 300 or more, or at this point. But we do know that that's a mechanism there through the corporate wing. And so they're not, if thrown under the bus and the government smashed and crushed and all of that, they don't lose a thing. The real owners of the company, they just put new managers in, create a new template of rule, and then we think everything's been changed, but the leaders remain the same. So we're not going to fucking fix anything even if we war with them or fight or do any kind of shit. All we're going to do is make it easier for them because we'll create more distortion, basically, in the noise, in the frequency, you know what I mean? More noise in the information pond, more splashing, more bullshit, and less focus on what we're supposed to be focusing on, like our health, the things that they're confusing us from right now, keeping us all confused with all this other shit going on. Meanwhile, they're pumping vaccines into us like wildfire, and pretending like they're fucking good, and we're catching them in little shit, but it takes See, there's all kinds of different levels of catching them. Like if you think you're catching them when they're doing the Boston bombing, you're a fool because they're doing it on purpose so that you do catch them. They want people like this. I'm not going to be condescending, not try to be, but people who haven't fully started investigating these things, people who haven't been shooken by the system yet, you know, ones that some people call sheep. Well, they want them to even wake up to that level. Only that level. They want you to wake up to where, look, the government's bad. We need a babysitter government. That's the rationale they're trying to set.
Yes.
They're trying to set into those people the rationale that they need the UN or like mechanisms, you know what I mean, to control. And who can argue with it when, look, the cops are all bad, everything's all bad, da-da-da-da. But you got to realize they're doing it on purpose.
Well, people keep willingly giving away their control to. They seem to think they need a government, but it's not really that difficult to govern yourself. You need a bit of fruit and veg, like 4 walls make a house or something, you know. But then you know, with the what's the fancy word for it again? The austerity measures, the quantitative easing. Quantitative easing. And they use the same expression in Norwegian as well. It translates to quantitative letting in Norwegian. So just so you know that it's an international affair, translated to different languages. I thought it's worth a mention. Yeah, because I mean, it's the same agenda here as it is over there. So
that's exactly the point. Yep, you're right on there. It is worth a mention because even though we may feel as we have. We may feel as though we have different templates of economics or rule or whatever. It's all fascism at the end of the day, if you look at it carefully.
Well, it all connects to the same head of the spider or the center of the spiders, whatever you like, doesn't it? And yeah, I mean, there is a core to the global secretive society network that it's hard to pinpoint because it really, I would say that it really does. It have a centre. One of its strengths is that it is spread out over the entire globe. And there are, you know, I mean, you mentioned Committee of 300. I mean, we got all these different branches: Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission. What is it in England? It would be the Royal Institute of International Affairs and the Fabians.
British intelligence.
MI5, MI6, Fabian Society, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, Sausage.
I think you're on there too. People underestimate what's going on with British intelligence. They totally underestimate. It's not something over like in America in the U.S. It's not something that's really, you know, understood or da-da-da-da very well. You have to really look into this shit to see like how far back British intelligence goes. You know what I mean? Like, we're dealing with, you know, countries that are already run through, you know, proxy mechanisms using British intelligence, but you know what I mean, to squeeze messages back and forth or whatever. But they don't. That's the thing. People think that it's one race or another in these countries that do one thing or another. I mean, there's a society of royal elite. They don't pledge allegiance to the country that they're serving. They pledge allegiance to the society that they belong to. So they can be Japanese working in Japan and still be Jesuits. You know, they can be Shriners and it's the truth. They're Shriners in China and they're Chinese as fucking everything, but they're still working for the Masons. They're still it's still that society. They're still running the same ultimate goal, no matter what the template, what the economic lie is, because oil is abiotic. Rockefeller knew it was not organic when he went up there and faked the definition in Geneva to what it would consist of organic oil, saying that it would be organic if it had oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon in it. Well, we now know that's not true. We can actually see it. We can make oil, and it has these things in it: hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon in it. And we have no organic material at all whatsoever. So we know it's not true. Plus, we also know that the deepest oil wells and all of that are far deeper than the deepest fossil ever found. No fossils making that shit. It's abiotic. It happens through electrochemical processes. We can see it happening with our very own eyes on Comet 67P right now in a similar environment, low pressure environment with no oxygen, and that's what we would have in a lot of these underground deep wells that are in the earth. Same environments, electrical, telecurrents, creating electrical frequencies, and standard model doesn't explain Birkeland currents and their relation to us and the sun and the earth and the earth's crusts, and they don't explain that yet. But if you study, I studied. I'm not trying to sound like I'm way up on the top of anybody. It's just a different perspective. It's from Thunderbolt's project. But when you start realizing some of this, you start seeing that there's a different reality completely to the one that they sold us through that standard model of fuel burning inside of the sun bullshit that they tried to tell us.
Mm. Yeah.
And I know I'm saying it like that because it's throwing you right now, but it's fueled externally, and they've already actually proven it with the Sapphire project. Yeah, by making a replica of the sun, double-walled cathode in a low-pressure environment. They duplicated sunspots, solar minimums, solar maximums. They duplicated. I know this is freaky. They duplicated the electrons speeding away from the cathode, i.e. sun. That duplicated that. All the things that the standard model could never do. And so the standard model literally is blown out of the water. I've seen it with my very own eyes. It's not a big ball of furnace-y shit burning inside of a thing that's going to run out someday. It's just not the way. Why? Otherwise, and the superposition equatorial spin, whatever the hell that's called. I forget it all of a sudden. But how the equator of the sun spins faster than the polar areas of the sun. What's that called? Super rotation. So all of these things are demonstrated and repeatable in a laboratory in the electric model, and they're still not changing the textbook. So there's definitely something. It's like when you want to prove something, there's one way to do it right there. Go look at the Sapphire project and see. And they can't say it the way I'm saying it because they would be sort of irresponsible and they're trying to come out into the, but the way I'm saying it's true.
I think it's quite amusing sometimes how they give us little hints, as in, I think it's Boston Dynamics, where you see them levitating little balls with sound. And I remember when they first put out that clip, and it's like, I don't know, I mean, it might be a minute long or something, and they had no sound. He's throwing a bomb there with his bong. Oh dear! Cough out loud, mate. Cough out loud. It won't bother us.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh dear. I totally forgot. I forgot what I was talking about. Can you believe it? I'm good at that anyway.
Styrofoam balls with sound.
Yeah. There you go. That was the one. And I'm thinking, oh, flipping heck, acoustic levitation galore. And when they first published the clip, there was no sound, so you couldn't get any clues from there. You want to give us a chord there, a levitation chord, please? No, there was no sound on that clip. But later on, I think they did give out a clip. I came across one later on where there was an audible signal there. But anyway, so no, the point of me mentioning that was the little hints they give us of technology, and it's like a teaser. Yeah, we can levitate this. Well, we're not going to show you. We're not going to necessarily be open about the other stuff we're levitating, like the stuff I see levitating around here, and it ain't no flying carpet, mate. So
right. Let me drop something in on. Let me weigh in on that. What they're doing there is they're actually showing you watch the hand trick to take your mind away from dielectric, the actual force that is being manipulated through the sound, because when you're vibrating. When you're using sound, you're vibrating material, energy, matter, right? When you're using sound, It's vibratory, the frequency. So is electricity.
Yeah, if the sound emitted resonates with the material in question, not every sound.
It's really an
Resonates.
electrical occurrence is what's happening. It's really electrical, and they're not trying to show you that because what's a charged particle? It's a vibrating particle, right? What's electricity?
Well, I can't tell you what it is because
okay, I'm sorry.
because I don't trust the model given to us there either. So,
right.
but I haven't figured it out for myself yet.
Either way, it still works. Either way, it still works. Before I get down to the what a real why particle theory is bullshit, and it's really just oscillation, amplification and oscillation at a particular frequency held, which holds a wave in place to look like a particle. But if you back up and you see it's not just a particle, like that's what they're doing with light. They're looking at it like at the wheel of the car and going, see, it's a tire. And like, wait, back up, man. There's more to the car. It's a car. And they're like, no, it's a tire. And that's why they can't figure out the particle split experiment and how we've debunked that already with the laser and a pin.
Right. Oh, there's a theme. There's a theme that here's a question to that theme of the double slit experiment, because there was a period where I couldn't get away from the thing. People kept sending me videos as well. Hey, have you heard of this? The double slit experiment. Consciousness affecting reality. Oh, really? Oh, right.
Yeah, I swear they do.
This is where I'm questioning. I mean, okay, maybe. You see, not one of these videos of about umpteen I've seen actually show the real experiment. It's just diagrams. So where is a video of somebody actually performing the real experiment? Please, if you have one, I'd love to see.
I have one. I have one, and it doesn't come out the way you like it.
Right. But the point of that, please let me finish.
I will. I promise. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just I'm going to lose my thread again because of the beer. It's a good excuse. Too much beer. Short-term memory lapse. Where was I?
They always try to show you that slit experiment, but they never show you.
Right. So and then in just about all of these videos that are sent to me, that theme is coming through where, but the observer is affecting the experiment. So as soon as they try to observe the particle and blah 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 blah. And that reminds me directly, oh no, this is the scientific New Age indoctrination again, isn't it? Where they're using it to get you to believe that your perception creates reality, when in actual fact, well, in your dreams, yeah, but in this dimension, it's a little bit more challenging, isn't it?
You know what? I'm so right, exactly right with you. It's like I think people get confused that because of the ether. We don't get taught about the ether, and the ether being, and if you know what I'm talking about, you might be able to, you already understand, before I even say any more words, you know what I'm talking about. That connection that already exists through everyone through the ether already.
Yeah. That
is already there, no matter what anybody else wants it to be or not. It's there because it's the universe.
Yeah.
It's like we're in a fluid, a really lightly, not dense at all, very light fluid, and that we don't feel it. You know what I mean? And it's really less dense than anything that we could have imagined, And it's one particle. It couldn't be more than one particle because it would be at that time it would be separated. I think it's one big congealed big ass particle, and within it, that'd be the only thing that's a particle. Be the one thing, and then within it are field perturbations. So it starts as that. And then in it are all field perturbations, are like condensations of that same material, the ether, compressed into whatever you're calling matter and shit, and
I mean, the expression ether, it gets me directly thinking about living in the frequency range kind of theme, where you have dark energy, dark matter, or vacuum. No. I know it's not necessarily the same. No, but you don't know what I'm talking about until I finished telling it to you. Unless you're so tuned into the ether that you've already read my mind before I'm going to say.
Let me guess and see if I am, bro.
yeah, hit it.
Because I feel like I am sometimes, man.
Well, that's probably because you are. That's probably because you are, and that's. I would say that there is absolutely no doubt that I am, although it comes and goes. You know, it's not something. You know, sometimes it's so hair-raisingly connected that it just beggars belief. You know, it's just hair-raising. Yeah, psychic phenomena. You try to put a label on it, but that can include so many things, and so many things happening here. Very real for me. And I never really needed any. I've never been a club member or a member of any like Yogi Bear, flying nitwits, nincompoop club or something like that. No, I've left that out. I like to figure things out for myself as best possible. Although I do like to compare what I've managed to figure out for myself based on what I know to be true because I've seen it myself. And compare it to other models presented with us, and then you try and figure out the truth from there.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, isn't it? I mean, it's fun to stretch. It's fun to stretch that to, you know. I do it all the time. Just that's why sometimes it seems like I'm maybe rude, and my intention's not to be rude at all.
I'm like that as well, aren't I?
Yeah, well, we are. My intentions are to impress or you know to connect, and sometimes it comes off as rude, and it's just because it's like an excitement comes along, and then there's an interruption. And it's like oh shit, it was only out of like, it wasn't out of dislike.
Yeah, well, for me, you don't come across as being rude at all, but I can imagine that both you and me have that experience out in other areas of the real world, coming face to face with people because of the programming, because of the lack of curiosity, and also the you know, the lack. He's putting his thumb up there. He knows what I'm talking about, and yeah, not only the lack of curiosity, it's really. It's you can see the switch turning, and then you can hear the cogs turning, you know, and you see the glazed look come over the eyes, and then you know you've lost them to the, you know, because
they've already got an argument.
Yeah,
no more words matter.
You've hit the trigger that they've been triggered to turn off to. So yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to fix that, man, eventually.
Well, that's why I started looking, and I keep having to remind myself now that I'm gonna pull myself together and deepen my knowledge. I used a lot of time looking into hypnosis techniques and different mind control techniques. I have done a lot of research on that and found out a lot of things that I can share with anyone. I really see that there's quite a bit more to be found out. I can see that there are some mechanisms there that I need to deepen my understanding of, so as to the purpose of me looking into it is to, you know, eventually help any willing victim to be deprogrammed. You know, I mean, you're not going to be deprogrammed if you don't want to be. it's a pretty hard job then, but you know, and I'm not really out to hypnotize people either. But somebody wanted me to hypnotize them the other day, and I said, look, no, this isn't no game, mate. This is serious. You know, and I don't think I really, you know. I don't think. Well, anyway. So yeah, the mechanisms, as in, I like to mention the pattern interrupt instant induction. You know, so there are many ways of interrupting the pattern, the usual pattern of things, and a pattern interrupt is is a very common technique. It can be via a handshake or another shock or a pressure point to the body, just a light touch to the back of the neck. It can be all sorts of things. A trigger word as well can be employed. Once the subject is on the hook, but yeah, the extent to which these different control techniques are used is so flabbergasting. It's just very difficult to say very little about it, to be honest. But I'm just mentioning it because, again, this is a very real phenomena, and I'm seeing, you know, and I've thrown this out there before, but I'm actually seeing evidence of remote control. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm literally, I don't know what to make of it quite yet. I mean, it's something I'm on, trying to, what I'm seeing is people being directly affected in real time by their mobile phones, as in the case where I was down the road and I had very good attention from all three of them. They were all sitting on the bench. They all had their phones in their hands. Funnily enough, because these people with these phones, they can't just put them down or put them away or anything. They've got to brandish them there, for some obscure reason. Not so
it's
obscure,
like
but yeah, it's like a security blanket, and
control.
it's got a bloody screen on it, and it's doing something else to you. So, oh dear. So I'm talking to them. I've got their attention, and then suddenly, simultaneously, at the same time, all of their heads turn away. Just when I was getting to the exciting bit, and just when they looked excited as well, and they looked really interested, exactly the same time, it looked like they were all turned off, like robots, all turned their heads down, lowered their heads, and I lost contact. I tried saying, hello, are you there? They were actually turned off.
Wow.
All three of them at the same time.
Are you sure it wasn't the gay joke you were telling? And they were gay?
Well, actually, one of the people sitting on that bench is a Freemason who was found drowned down the road here, who I've been talking to in this area.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, sure, man.
Yep. I've got more hair-raising ones than that, but I mean, I'm just thinking, is what I'm seeing, was what I was seeing there, was that real? Because it seemed that they don't like influential characters like me walking around, like talking to people face to face and saying, hey, did you know that actually that and that connects to this, that, and the other?
Oh, yeah, and don't be charismatic about it either, because that'll get you spotted quickly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they spotted me a long time ago when I held a speech, you see, about vaccines. That's why I have to hang out with you more, because we're anti-vaccine fanatics. But
you know what? I think while you're mentioning that, I think there's it's good to also mention that how a lot of people are focused on the metals and the adjuvants of the vaccine, but not the actual animal cells of the vaccine themselves, or pleomorphism, which is not disproven. And it's actually proven. And so Anton Beauchamp, people need to look in that, because that's why you get the Nagelese levels. Nagelese is just an enzyme secreted from the decay of flesh or organic material. So when we understand the basics, then the building blocks that occurred in order for that problem to happen in the first place. Building blocks existed for that to occur in the first place. Excuse me. And yeah, so the vaccines themselves, the animal cells themselves, it is the vaccine all on the whole that's bad, not any one little part of it.
I have sewed and foot of newt or something,
Yeah. So yeah.
But what's the witch's brew in Macbeth? Boil and trouble and all this stuff, and then they read out all the ingredients like eye of newt and stuff like that, and head of snake or something.
Kidney monkey, kidney of monkey.
Kidney of African green monkey with a bit of SV40 virus and a bit of well.
Yeah, take the blood of a bovine fetus.
I mean, flipping heck. I mean, it's flipping. It's necro, cannibalistic.
Well, it's not exactly necro. They keep it alive.
Right. Well, that's apart from the half-killed. That's apart from the half-killed viruses, of course. As in Jonas Salk, who was a member of a eugenics society, who gave us was one of the ones who gave us a really dodgy polio vaccine. What was that, in '76 or something? I haven't done my. It's years.
They were all dodgy, brother. That's why they had to change the name of the diseases and shit in order to hide the fact that the vaccines don't even work for them.
What?
Polio was all but eradicated before the vaccine even came out. Remember that?
Well, the vaccine was to spread polio and other shit.
Yeah, get it fired back up, so that you need it again. Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, people keep contracting the diseases that the supposed vaccine is supposed to protect you against, as in the tuberculosis vaccines in India and stuff.
Well, then they've got these couple of incidents. They've got a couple of incidents. They've got these couple of incidents that they keep going back to, and I think that these incidents were actually setups, like where someone went in, poisoned a bunch of Orthodox Jews kids with the measles vaccine, like maybe oral vaccine in the water or something, or ran some recently vaccinated kids through their neighborhood intentionally to because you're contagious after the vaccination for sometimes up to 3 days.
Yep. And longer, yeah.
Or longer, yeah. So it's pretty strange that those variables are not thrown into that as a part of the question when the equation is already said to be fully answered or worked out, and it's about the kids not being vaccinated. Well, I think it's about the other kids being vaccinated. Causal, the causation for reality is the kids that weren't vaccinated would have never gotten sick had it not been for the overly vaccinated population of which is a wild strain that they're releasing on. You know what I mean? That's really weird.
Yeah.
So
how does that tie in? So how does that tie in? Well, I'm actually, well, not how, but can you tie that in with the Committee of 300 and what they have to do with their participation in this project?
Committee of 300, when we talk about them, we talk about people who run all big pharma, all big oil, all big agri. So hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gaming industry as well. Yes.
All of it. All
of it.
Yeah.
Especially the gaming industry. That's where they suck kids in. With the first player. The first person shooter games.
Yeah.
The drone operators and shit. So.
Yeah.
I don't want to digress the conversation, but I was going to ask a question as far as like the kind of vaccines they give service people. How much more toxic garbage is in that versus the stuff your HMO tries to push on you?
Well, you gotta know. I really don't know, man.
I don't know either, but I imagine it can be
it's much
anything.
different.
If you go into the military, they can do anything to you. I mean, here in Norway, if you do the military service, you have to be gassed in a chamber.
Yeah,
breathing the flipping gas and then breathing out. So you're going into a service, you think you're helping a country, and they're flipping poisoning you.
Yeah. Not only that, you become the property of the government. And the testing and all of that kind of stuff that goes on is you can't sue them for it or do anything.
Before you can go to Africa,
people do.
You gotta get vaccinated. Now, I was just saying, before you can take a trip to Africa or Tanzania, you got to get vaccinated. You got to get some shots before you can go to Africa. So, yeah, they put the stuff up in you because I don't know if it's to protect you or what is it doing to you while it's in your body.
It's just data for them. You get a story about protection and they get data. Report to me about the hives. Report to me about this. And then you report all the adverse reactions or whatever happened to you.
Well, there is the Tweeny 80 scenario. What is it? The polysorbate something or other. I can't remember what it's called now. It's ages since I've done this research. But basically, you've got the sterilizing agents in vaccines as well. So, I mean, it's more well known now. The 300,000 women who have been demonstrating in Peru.
Yeah.
300,000 women who've been sterilized against their will, which is a form of genocide. So they won't be having a next generation. 300,000 people, and that's one section from one country. Can you imagine the amount of depopulating is going on
via
vaccines every single day?
You just touched on something that kind of like made me think about this, man. What if when they go overseas, they give them a vaccine to sterilize them for a short amount of time so that they can't have, heirs over there, which would build sovereignty or something for,
Well, that's a thought.
countries.
That is a thought, but I don't think they want us having heirs anywhere.
Well, of course, but I mean, especially
I see your point. I see your point.
What if there's a vaccine or something that creates sterility for the 9 months that you're out, and then when you get back home, you're okay again.
You're
with
right.
One baby.
That's true.
Sorry, say
hear
again?
me?
Yeah, finally.
Okay, great.
Woo!
Oh, Debbie.
I couldn't really tell if it was working or not working before.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm still not getting the bars going up on it. It's really weird.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I know they've been booted out two times, so
Yes, they
yeah.
really played with today.
Been fun.
The wind is blowing pretty good over here, so we got a nice amount of electron flow charge variance going on.
There you go. I love this video. This really explains that slit experiment.
Oh, I forgot I was trying to show that.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch that?
I
Yeah,
do.
go ahead.
I'm looking for a video that actually shows the actual experiment, not a video that shows diagrams and hearsay. That's my point. I just thought I'd make that clear.
I got one of those too. I'm on a playlist.
I never managed to find one.
Yeah, I got that, and I'm
really dying to see a real one, you know.
Well, we'll show you how the split experiment really works.
That's right.
Yeah.
Instead of the setup one that we always, you know.
It's all in the boundaries.
If I can find that shit again.
In 1801, Thomas Young allowed monochromatic light to pass through two very narrow slits and projected it onto a screen. Young expected to see two shadows. Instead, he discovered fringes. Today, quantum mechanics offers two conflicting explanations for Young's slit experiment. On the one hand, quantum assumes that light consists of discrete particles. On the other, quantum takes light to be a continuous electromagnetic wave. Here we show that neither individually nor merged into the famous wave packet that Roger Penrose illustrates in one of his books. Can these proposals explain the slit experiment? We started our analysis with one of the most famous anecdotes of mathematical physics. In 1927, at the Fifth Solvay Conference in Brussels, the two giants of mathematical physics, Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr, discussed Young's slit experiment in terms of particles. Einstein tried to convince Bohr that his thought experiment debunked quantum. He illustrated that a beam of discrete photons would bounce off the frame or windowsill of the slit and travel to the screen. Bohr defended quantum by arguing that when the particles struck the windowsill, they would move the entire partition sideways before they arrived at the screen. Indeed, everyone who invokes discrete particles to explain the slit experiment today has the same misconceived explanation, that discrete particles bounce off the windowsills of the slits and then impact the screen. Toronto University physics teacher David Harrison actually illustrates particles striking the frame of the slit and bouncing inwards. If we remove the windowsill, entire frame, and leave only the center. What if we replace the double slits with a needle? What will the particles bounce against now? Let's do the slit experiment with a laser pointer and a needle stuck to a rubber cork. Here we see the laser pointer sitting on a chair, pointing at the body rather than at the eye of a needle, which is sitting on another chair. At the far wall, you see a tiny bright light. Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is not going to be a $1 billion Large Hadron Collider type experiment. Let's go up here to see the red light up close. We verified Thomas Young's fringes. No more needs to be said. We produced these fringes not by passing light through slits, but by passing the light around the needle. Let's recap to drive home the message. We can all imagine a stream of particles striking the windowsill as discussed by both Einstein and Bohr and animated by Harrison. But if we remove the windowsill, the entire frame, and leave only the center, in this case the needle, what will the particles bounce against now? The entire stream of particles should go straight ahead and never reach anywhere near the center of the screen, or produce interference fringes. Early and Tanamura claimed separate papers that produced interference fringes by shooting one electron at a time. Both use grounded plates to deflect the alleged single electrons. Can Merli or Tanamura perform their electron experiments without grounded plates, with just a needle like we did here? If not, the onus is on them to justify the reason for the different behaviors of photons and electrons.
Mm-hmm.
More fundamental, if, as Merli and Tanamura claim, they juggled one electron at a time, they should be able to tell us what an electron looks like.
Yep.
And if not an electron, certainly the much larger atom. Are Merli and Tanamura invoking Bohr's thoroughly debunked planetary model of the atom to justify their claims that they handled one electron at a time? Are they saying that they were able to remove the orbiting bead from Bohr's planetary atom and bounce it off the walls of their grounded plates? Neither Merli nor Tanamura proved that they handled individual electrons. They never saw an electron in their entire lives. Both Merli and Tanamura assumed that the impacts on their respective screens were caused by single electrons.
You can be confident that electrons are particular.
Tanamura has not provided any evidence that he is staring at electron impacts other than his
You can be confident.
justified personal opinion.
When accumulated, however, interference fringes are formed. We have reached a conclusion which is far from what our common sense tells us.
Yes, here we agree. Tanamura's conclusions are nonsensical, rational, unsubstantiated, because pseudoscientists, amateurs such as Merli and Tanamura, rely on Bohr's thoroughly debunked planetary model of the atom. If their assumptions are patently wrong, their conclusions are bound to be no much better. Waves run into the same predicament. A wave theorist explains that light generates fringes, like water waves do when they interfere with each other after passing the slits.
If the top of one wave meets the bottom of another wave, they cancel each other out. So now there is an interference pattern on the back wall.
What would happen if we remove the outer walls of the slits? Dr. Quantum provides the answer. Waves that go around the slits do not interfere with each other. They spread out.
Ta-da!
A simulation of waves would very well be a needle. As you can see, the waves spread out and generate.
And when they cross, they look like points and particles to the people.
Hence,
and that those are conversions and inversion lines.
That quantum mathematicians invoke to simulate
it's all magnetics.
Needle experiment, which, as we have just shown,
it's electricity, guys.
Fringes. The rope hypothesis, on the other hand, enables us to explain both Young's slit and Bill Giggy's needle experiments in a single stroke. Videos 7 and 8, we propose that all atoms in the universe are interconnected by electromagnetic ropes.
And the light is a electric induction. What it's doing is it's rippling the ether. That's the behavior of the ether.
Right.
And that's what they're not understanding in this, I think. But I don't know if they are or not. It doesn't seem like it.
Light consists of torsions.
Yeah. See, they're saying light consists of torsions and shit when it's nothing is emitted from that laser. It's a field. Nothing's emitted from a light bulb.
Mm-hmm. It's just energy transferal through the ether.
It's exactly. It's like electricity, just creating a circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Under the rope hypothesis, the atoms comprising the filament of the laser pointer are already connected to the atoms comprising the needle, which are connected to the atoms comprising the screen before we even start the experiment. When we turn on the light, the electromagnetic ropes torque at a higher frequency and allow objects to come within visible range. Then,
so you saying that this is Masonic science?
No.
School wave explanation. If the ropes are in phase,
you mean the science that we're taught in school? Yeah.
We see constructive interference. If the links are out of phase, we have destructive.
Oh, you mean hidden knowledge? Yeah. I thought you meant something that, like, you know.
Not hidden by nature, but hidden
not
by
hidden by nature, hidden by some corrupt fuckers who want to control everyone. The Masons, yeah.
Well, the way I view science,
the ones that aren't really, yeah, it's not like you, some random guy in your neighborhood Mason is gonna get you. They're just money collectors. They get told to do good things. They even do good things a lot of times. It's that little guy. That's the trap. That's the trick. And then it's the leaders that take the money that you create and make and fund and fundraising and all of that, and then kill with it.
You got to pretty much donate your first paycheck.
So you basically, it's not really the little guy, but it is the little guy because he actually is the machine, the oil for that machine, because he keeps on doing good things for that place, making them look good, da-da-da-da, and then they do all this shit to us. So it's hard to be like, because people be like, well, my dad was a Freemason and he was good, and da-da-da. Well, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. They're not going to give all the Freemasons the secret. That would be stupid. Then there would be a conspiracy to hide. It would be huge because then everyone would know, and then how would we? Yeah, not everybody gets to know.
It's similar like when the Hells Angels do a toy drive. It's their version of Hearts and Minds.
Yes, it's like the Jesuits going out and feeding the countries that they fucking block the gates at so no one else can come feed. It's like the Catholic Church, you know. Oh, we're helping you, you know. They walk outside with their lavish gold trims and step over the little poor kid. It's starved underneath him.
Who was it who mentioned the Hells Angels? Here's one for, seeing as you mentioned that, here's one for you. If you look at all the different Hells Angels groups around the world and the symbolism that is used, you'll find a diamond shape, right, which has 1% written in it. That goes for the Outlaws and the what's the other one called? The big one again. Got them in Australia and the States. You got them in Norway too. Begins with M.
Mongols.
Mongols.
Those two. I was thinking of a different one. But anyway, you look at all these. If you just, I mean, it doesn't take long. If you just do Hell's Angel search on the net and you just keep your eye out for that diamond symbol. Right? What is that diamond symbol? It's two triangles. It's two triangles, which is 33.
Yeah, that's their UN badge.
Because it's controlled by the same Masonic control network that we're trying to describe. Well, that I'm trying to describe.
Right? Yeah, okay.
That's right, man. And that's exactly right.
So the question the way I was building with you, Graham, is that if you can control light, because this is what your presentation is based upon, how to control light and what light does, right? So if they are making the light bulbs, the LED lights, the headlights, you know, they are the powers that be are in control of all of this secret knowledge of how a light is transferred. Yeah. You know, so I'm thinking like, yeah, you bringing this out and showing how light really does affect us. It's like it really smacks them in the face real hard. You know what I'm saying? Smacks them in the face real hard. Now having the true knowledge, which was also hidden from us, because like you said, in high school, this right here wasn't taught to us at this degree, right? We was told that
covered up by Greek, by particle science, and it was right. By Greek before that.
So yeah, so it's like, who's controlling the light bulb now, right? You know, BG&E, General Electric, AT&T, Verizon. You know, who's controlling your switches? Are you in control of your lights when you click them on?
Yeah, we're not.
Do say True for Life lights?
These are rhetorical, right? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good info. Good info, because they would hide something like this from us for centuries.
Millennia.
The real question is, Lost, why is it available now? Why is this guy on here presenting this now? Why is it available to us now and not then?
It ain't available. These are random dudes. Available would be in your textbooks. This ain't available. This is like someone has a laser and they have a pin and a cork and they can prove it. This shit is so simple that I feel dumb that we haven't figured it out a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we've always been.
That's what I'm saying. Like real dumb. Like holy damn dumb for following somebody else's lead and not just trying to figure things out for myself.
Yeah. That's.
I'm looking at everything through a prism. How one single light shines through a prism and creates 7 lights, but it's the way the prism, it's the way the prism is designed that creates the 7 lights. It's the way the needle was designed that creates those separations when the light is shined at it. So it's all about what the light is pointing at, which creates the shadow.
Refraction.
My prism.
Yeah, so Grim, it goes back to my former question I asked you a long time ago. You kind of sundanced on me, but yeah, give me something real that I could use, right? Because the sun is not as close as we think it is. When we look outside, we can see the sun. All right, Broham, what are we really looking at based on this new light theory? Because it's damn sure ain't the sun, because the sun is millions of miles away. There ain't no way my 2 eyes could possibly see the fucking sun.
Yeah, we're looking at field perturbations.
Exactly.
All right.
One mirrored image after another. Flip, 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 all the way to you.
Well, like Grim says, if you picture the whole universe, the whole universe as one big solid thing, kind of like a big thing of Jell-O, then it all makes a lot of sense. Okay?
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a sausage, like a large, long sausage.
Sausage and Jell-O. That's like string.
Or custard, like runny, like warm yellow custard.
You know, these are good metaphors for or analogies for string theory, quantum physics. That's
actually one of my chess handles. One of my chess handles is sausage theory. I use that as a chess name. So just so you know, I thought that's very important for you to know that.
Yeah. It's probably. Let me get my pen.
I like Jell-O better than strings.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sausage theory.
Yes. Right.
Sausage theory. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, do you play chess? Are there any chess players here? I need chess players. Do you play?
Occasionally.
Oh, you do play chess? Great, I need you. Yeah. Right, we are going to infiltrate the chess community and inspire these. Just an idea. Just an idea. Inspire these chess geniuses or potential wannabe geniuses to apply their noodles and use their nuts in a different direction. You know, in light of recent developments.
Help us out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking these people are so energetic with their mind. We need to hijack their noodles, and because I mean, you go to a chess site, right? Depending on the chess site, that it's censored what you can say. I mean, you've got your mods, you've got your bot, moo bots and stuff coming in and flipping artificial intelligence thingy. No, I mean it's and then you've got all this. You've got all the programming in the chess. So I'm thinking, look, I'm a kind of an active amateur chess player. I don't play too badly. I've got a rating of over 2,000, 2,104 at the moment. Blah blah blah. It's not that important. It's more the thought that
good out of a lot of you probably got a lot of players there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking like several million players all over this globe. So I'm thinking. One thing is writing something in a chat, another thing is setting up something where, I mean, if I see a grandmaster like the Norwegian world champion at the moment, Magnus Carlsen, you know, you see him turn up on the box, he gets interviewed, they don't get asked questions of opinions of anything political or nothing. You know, as in any sports scenario, they will avoid and steer clear of anything of any importance whatsoever, of course.
You might find it surprising when a lot of what you thought were very intelligent because they're good at playing chess players have no clue about reality or what's going on. And
exactly. So even an active, intelligent mind, in some respects, even though that mind is focused on, in this scenario, on a game, a specific game in question here. But I mean, yeah, it's freeing that mind. It's a bit like freeing. Well, attempting to free that mind from that box, you know. And the box is the chessboard in this case, and it's very square looking as well, so it looks a bit like a box as well, like the flipping black cube of Saturn coming in the house again, you know.
Yeah.
And then you've got the duality of the chess squares. Yeah, the black and white squares, which you find on all
Sorry,
the...
I thought you said the duality.
I did say that. I did say that.
How do you do that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the duality of the black and white squares. Yeah, the polarity and duality. The divide and rule duality that you find the checkered floor on all of the Masonic lodges, because it is the grand chessboard as they see it. And what do you have on the chessboard? You've got the queen, the king, the queen, right? But you also got the bishop, which is religion. You've got the knight, which is the fucking Knights Templar. Excuse my language. You've got your rook, which is your tower, right? What's that? It's your fortress, your stronghold. Because when the people wake up, you're going to need your flipping stronghold to keep them out of there.
But you know what? Chess is a game that's only people get really good at it if they're good at figuring out how to all the different kinds of moves with a lot of boundaries defined, because there are a lot of rules defined in chess.
You're in a box. You gotta think inside of a box.
That's why it doesn't necessarily relate to good scientific thinking, because you've got to kind of be out of the box for that.
Exactly, but I'm not necessarily after good scientific thinking either, with all due respect. What I'm after is just to inspire, to find a trigger there, to get them to flip the neck. This is about our future.
Intelligent people, though.
Yeah, there are intelligent people in chess, even though they're locked into the game. That potential can be used for something else. I know that within myself, because I actually broke I had a terrible gambling habit, and I broke out of the habit by converting it to chess. So I applied the same urge, the gaming urge, if you like, to simplify it, to a different activity, and thereby came into contact with lots of people, got a completely new social life, and made my life more interesting on many levels, and broke the gambling, the fruit machine. I managed to drag my way from myself away from those flipping fruit machines, I tell you.
Good shit.
You know, I mean, you know, chess is a game of kingship and royalty and rule. You know, it is based upon a Masonic order. It is based upon order. It's based upon building and controlling and keeping and also conquering, right? So it's just like the same way checkers is set up on the same type of board, and it's all about building a wall based upon jumping, and when you get to the end, you holler what? King me, right? That's the whole thing. And as many kings as you can get, they even got a Mason-Dixon line. Check that out, a Mason-Dixon line, right? So you're dealing with.
You're absolutely right, which is exactly.
Yes. Dealing with the fundamentals of the practice, and that's why chess and checkers was introduced to you as a child, the same way they say put your hand on your heart when you do the hidden hand move on the Pledge of Allegiance. That's why they gave us all of this stuff as a children. But as a child, you won't see the crookedness. You'll only see the game and innocence, and you've been manipulated from birth.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And that's why I think, oh, that's just an area where I've been active, and I'm thinking, right, that's where I can address something. I can try to inspire something, which I have done already, but only on a very small level. So, but I could see there were some hints of interest there from some more well-known players on certain subjects, and I'm thinking, hello. I mean, if well, I see,
Bring them around.
I see a raised eyebrow, you know.
You know it's cool when you bring somebody from some random place that you used to be, and you bring them to another platform.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get them kind of like, you know, a guy who's thinking about chest, a little chest. We're all thinking about chest. I don't know where that came from. Chess.
Treasure chest.
You know, he might be focused, you know, a little bit too much on chess, and like you're saying, he might want to expand his, you know, addiction.
Yeah. I mean, taming the wild horse on that. I mean, it's that theme, isn't it? Really, that's how I'm thinking of that. Any problem one has within oneself is energy that has potential to be used in another area. So I mean.
That's interesting.
Channeling, in a way, converting kind of things within oneself.
So we're looking for groups of problematic, intelligent people.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way where energy is used in the system. I mean, how we all know how resources are used to bolster the military all over the place, and all that razzmatazz. But I mean, if that same amount of energy was used on doing something completely different, we would have less war, and maybe you know, if you use that same resources and energy on something more positive, more natural, as in restoring nature to its previous glory, which I think already gave us. I mean, people keep talking about change, but change and change. I think there's a bit of a trap in that word because, or can be, because we already had what we needed. That's because, well, I mean, nature already gave us what we needed. Still really does, has the potential to do so. Just we get them to stop spraying this shite on us, and on the trees and the plants and the animals and everything. If we can manage to achieve that, and then someone asked me, how do we stop this spraying? I said, well, there's only one way, isn't there? You're not going to stop the spraying by staring up at the sky.
Yeah, you got to get people to
unless you're a new ager and you think that perception creates reality, then you could. Oh, if you're a new ager, then you can just stare at the plane and make it disappear. Then, but I'm on a more down to earth level, actually, here in this dimension, at least.
I want to be able to. I want to get some of that jet fuel from one of those planes, and I want to just burn it and test the emissions and see what's in it, what's happening.
Yeah. Well, have you noticed the little puffy ball things on one side of many of the trails that expand?
Yes.
Well,
of course I have. I've been on this for fucking.
Yeah, of course. Great, you've noticed. Most people don't notice that. I have to point it out to them.
It's just like you take a handful of baby powder.
I
did a demonstration one time.
That to me is a strong suggestion of pulsed injection, right?
Yeah,
something that is independently injected into the exhaust. Although there are, and I have to agree with you, if you know what I mean, that there are patents and things included in the fuel that can also function on a geoengineering level. That all you have to do is
a catalyst of some sort.
Yeah. But when I see this pulsed injection evidence, what I think is evidence of that anyway, unless I find more information to see that I have to change my mind on that, but it certainly looks like that to me. And then I'm thinking, yeah, it's something separate. There are separate tanks, and okay, so they've shown us umpteen photos of this so-called ballast. They tried to say it's ballast for testing aeroplanes. But we're seeing these tanks with lots of tubes and stuff, and many different designs, some black ones, some red ones, some white ones.
I understand a lot of exhausts are recombinant.
They don't look much like ballast to me.
The ability to recombine and create material after they've been exhausted, so they could be a nice viscous fluid as they're being used and thrown through the engine, but then after burnt, they become two different chemicals that once reach oxygen again, and then become like a salty aluminum, or barium or some shit. I think there's something to the chemistry that we don't see because we're always looking for a powder or a particular thing and da 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 da. And
yeah, we're talking
they work on
nanoparticulates here.
electrochemical levels, so it could easily just be. It could easily. That's why it could easily not be known that well, because it could just be in the jet fuel that there are no actual spraying devices, and except for the ones that are actually because there are jets.
But then the engine. Do you see what I mean? As a reaction to that,
because I know there. Hello.
Oh, sorry.
I know that there are jets that do have the spray nozzles on them because there are these geoengineering corporate companies all over, even my state. So I know it exists for real. I mean, we see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's possible to go and hire a company. I mean, it was possible here in Norway. You could actually go and hire a company, but we're talking a different level.
Right.
I saw. You know, they do it in Russia too.
But
Yeah,
many of
they do it
the
everywhere.
contracts come through to them from the DoD, and those would be different contracts. And so I'm just saying, I don't know.
Right. I'm just seeing different types of spraying as well, so that, not to confuse though. One thing with the other, although we're talking about similar intentions, changing the atmosphere for one reason or another, but when it comes to the tests that have been independently shown around the globe, aluminium, barium, strontium content, that's one thing, that I think is believable.
I'm talking about lithium. They put all kinds of shit in.
Yeah, lithium and flipping. They're spraying vaccines on people in Australia as we speak.
Rabies, rabies.
And that is on the official Australian government website. They actually
those are edible packets that they're dropping out of the planes, right?
No, they're spraying it. Apparently, it's all. I mean, check it for yourself.
What the fuck?
This is from a few years ago now. I mean, this is already. I think it's about 3 years ago. I came across this. It was like going around that news. It's on the official Australian government website, and they announced it, and that's what they're doing. So they actually admit to it officially, and this I'm not joking. I mean, maybe I can still find the site.
I think they were dropping the rabies packets. They're little bait packets of food. And
is that why? That's why I'm foaming at the mouth then.
Yeah, because you can't eat those little. If they smell like fish, don't eat the little package.
Bloody hell, it's amazing we're still alive. I keep saying that, We're still walking around and functioning, We're overriding the program. Override the program. Use manual gears, please.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Yeah.
Where are all the birds coming from?
I don't know, but I'm not complaining.
They sound nice.
I can mute.
Oh, okay.
When a train comes, I do mute.
Sounds like it's a Disney cartoon or something. Are you sure that's not a Disney cartoon? You're listening to that?
It is a Disney cartoon here. You should see that first.
I feel like it's that racist one.
Oh no.
All the animals get along here.
Disney's so fucking racist.
Yeah.
Well, no, we don't even want to go there. They're worse than racist.
What would you expect from a 33rd degree Freemason,
Yeah.
Oh.
And they've got at Disney. They still have club. They still have Club 33 though.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, you got to go underground for that.
Yeah, well, you can see the door. It's on. They probably have underground too. Yeah, like you say. I mean.
Dude, there's a whole city underground under Disney.
Yeah, with.
I'm not kidding.
I saw a whole documentary on that.
Oh, you did? Well. Yeah. Well, that's where all the the employees and shit, when they go, the stages and shit, sometimes just drop down, and then they're down, they're there, and then they just walk into their respective,
right,
lounges or whatever. Huh. There's clubs and shit. There's fucking, private shit. There's all kinds of, go to the nightclub and you go underneath nightclub. I'm talking, come out, put your champagne and your disco light on.
Is the public ever
Full lights and shit.
I can't think what Disney cartoon it was now, but once I was out. Well, it's happened more than once, but one particular time stands out in my mind, and I was out in the woods with my violin, which I was playing at the time, and I stood kind of in this nice little spot. You know, I was alone in the woods, no other programmed humans around, like domesticated slaves and stuff to put up with. So, whipped up my violin, started playing. Two squirrels come out on a branch and sit there looking at me and listening. And then a whole bunch of birds come to the tree, and a whole bunch of other birds. Then there was some animal in the bushes. I couldn't see what it was. It might have been an elk, actually. It didn't make itself. It was. I just heard it rummaging a bit. I could see something moving in the bush. And then all these different animals. They all came, and I thought, flipping out. It's like that thing I saw on it's like, what is it, Al Jarreau or something? There's singing some Disney, and the little birds, cartoon birds, fly down as he's singing and stuff. It was just like that, you know.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we have a violin player in the chat. He says, "You play violin. You're something or other. I don't understand his code. But he plays the violin. Anarchy plays the violin. Great."
Yeah, I used to play the violin.
Oh,
yeah.
I used to play the violin too. I've got one hanging on the wall behind me, which I want to fix up. That was found in a container in a kind of a dumpster thing.
I've got one violin I bought at a yard sale. I still need to fix last summer.
I dated a girl who played the violin.
Wow.
She wouldn't let me play with her violin that much.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
People can be very protective about their violins.
Yes.
I know, because I'm like that myself. But
well, I was young too, and I literally didn't take the violin very seriously.
Right.
So I wanted to play it like a fiddle.
Oh.
Well, why not?
Yeah,
Why not, indeed? You can still do that if you like. I mean, you know, I'd love to hear you at it.
Well, yeah, I don't think she understood. I was just really, because the way I am with instruments, I like to just like feel them out first, you know, and then I'll grab it the way you tell me I'm supposed to grab it. But
right. I wouldn't take these classical musicians too seriously either. They think they're the bee's knees very often.
Yeah,
she was really stuck up.
And they forget that all of their music, most of their music, is stolen from folk music. So if you meet a snobby classical musician, remind them that their music comes actually from traditional folk music.
Oh man, and let me tell you a little story real quick. She's like a crackhead now. She's totally fucking. She was one of those ones that were like too good for anybody in school, and all stuck up and didn't learn anything from going to any of the social events or parties or anything because she was too better than everybody else and all of that kind of shit. And then
and she's on the. Don't tell me
one day she got turned out and didn't have any experience with any of that shit. Did she
give you all that shit about going to the prom? I just had to ask you that because I met her. Yeah, they were these snob violinists. They always have to go to the proms, and then when they go to the proms, there's no point in trying to communicate with them because then their nose adopts a slightly different angle, about 33 degrees upwards.
Yeah. I never got to go to the prom because I missed
my prom. I'm happy now.
I
I want to go. Oh, that's funny.
That was funny. 33 degrees upwards.
About.
The funniest shit of the day.
We had our own party on prom night. It was a lot.
Much better. Blew theirs away. We made a point. It's tough always being on the outside looking in. No, I wasn't looking in. I was running away.
Exactly.
What's wrong with these people?
Ah. That's nice.
Do you know what? What happened to me the other day? You're gonna love this, or maybe not. Yeah, it was on Sunday. On the last Sunday, I thought, oh crikey, I've got no bread, right? So I thought, right, I'll go out and try and find some bread. Then it was early in the morning, and I'm out on my bike, so I go down to the local gas station, right, petrol station. Great, they're really tweeting away there, these birds. It's great. This.
Yeah.
And so I get to the gas station. It was closed. I was too early, you know. Early bird catches the worm. I'm often early out. And then I biked it another direction, and I was too early for that petrol station as well. You know, goodness knows what people do at night if they need petrol. And so I biked it about 9 kilometres further to a place where I thought there was an open, like a 24-hour thingy. No luck there either. It wasn't open until 10 in the morning. But then, lo and behold, an open gas station. So I go in there, and I see 3 loaves of bread on the shelf, and I'm thinking, oh, my eyes are like flipping saucepans and looking at these loaves of bread. And so I'm getting nearer. I'm actually going towards these loaves of bread. I'm about to grab one, and the woman comes and she says, no, these are out of it, you know, these are out of date or whatever, you know, old loaves of bread. And I'm thinking, pull the other one, ducky. They look like they came out of the bakery like about 5 hours ago or something, is what I'm thinking in my head. And I say to her, so I say to her, listen here, because that bread, it doesn't look too bad to me. If it's from yesterday, it doesn't bother me. I chuck it in the toaster, love, and it's going to be lovely and warm and squidgy, you know. You know, and she says, no. I mean, and it was like, it was just a totally strange scenario, and I'm telling you, it got stranger. You know, I was wondering if some Freemason was pressing the disrupt button on the remote-controlled human being.
And her phone just getting everybody in a 30-foot radius.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it was just so weird already when I got in there. You know, I mean, she took the 3 loaves of bread and like took them 10 meters away from me behind the counter, so I could definitely not get near them. So I'm thinking, okay, she's not going to sell me any bread. Let's have a look around, see what else we can get hold of here. And lo and behold, I come across these what do you call them? What do you call it? Not balls. But baps? No. Buns. Raisins,
okay.
Buns with raisins in them, right? So there's 2
like
bags, right?
Buns?
Yeah, they're like buns with like bread.
Sweet rolls is what they call them.
Yeah, sweet rolls, but they're round like buns, like a set of jugs. Anyway, excuse my terrible humour. Baps, buns, same thing to me. It's got a raisin in it. It's a bit of flour with a. Anyway, so I see the 2 bags of buns and some waffles there, so I just grab the whole load and I go to the counter and I'm going to pay for it, right? And she says, do you want a bag for those buns? And I said, well, yeah, thanks. I've got a bag with me, but, you know, the bag. Yeah, but she says, you're going to need a bag for those buns because they're going to be flat. They're going to be flattened. And I'm thinking, what? Now, why is this strange? Because this is the first time I've ever heard this suggested in my life. You know, nobody ever in my life has suggested that the buns are going to be flattened. And I did say to her, I said straight out and very politely as I could, look, I've actually moved buns from one location to another on several occasions in my life, and with this very same backpack, in fact. And when I got home, the buns were intact; they weren't any flatter. And please trust me that you know the buns won't be flattened. She says, look, you really need to pack them in carefully into your bag because you might flatten the buns. And I'm thinking, okay, so this woman's got an obsession of what is this? And so
she's worried about flattening the buns because of experience. Look at her.
Yeah, she'd flattened several bags of buns before she got to that stage. But anyway.
Buns? Did someone say bags of buns?
Does that mean something else over there? Then you have to forgive my ignorance. Right. Right. No.
You know how hard it was to get them off my truck?
Oh, God. You got a good truck. What brand?
How did you get them into the house? That's what I want to know. If you had to redesign
Oh, shit.
the house.
No.
Double
They
trouble.
just jump in the truck and leave.
Well,
I'm gonna take this time. Hey, I'm gonna end the show, leave the live show. So we'll still
Okay.
chat. I'll be live. So
I'll
thanks
try and make
everybody.
a very long. I'll try and make a very long, boring story short. I will try and make it short.
Bye.
Wait, don't close it yet.
Bye.
Oh no, she went. Somebody went. Oh,
No.
it's you. You're outside.
Yeah.
Is that a chimney? Is that a chimney behind you, like going sideways? A sideways chimney? Giant chimney. Right. So I got these buns, right? I got these buns, and I'm trying to pay for the buns, and she said. So, I mean, she said already about 5, 6, 7 times about, and she's made it clear to me that she's really worried about these buns going flat. So, I grabbed the bags, and I'm thinking, do you know what? And I'm thinking in my head what I want to do, right? And what I want to do now is just take the buns and smash them into my bag, squish them like totally flat, and then take them out of the bag again, put them on the counter again, and just bang them with my fist until they're totally flat, so that everybody's happy. Now the buns are flat, Ducky, right? So nobody's got a problem anymore. It's still got the same flipping ingredients, hasn't it? Anyway, this is what's going through my head. That's what's going through my head. But I managed to stay polite, and I said what I said to her in actuality was, as I walked out of the shop, the world is going to the shits by design, and you're worried about flat buns. So I said it like that, just simple. I don't think there was any hope of any inspiration of truth there, but that's what I said to her. That's what you have to put up with when you go out into the world. 10 times she said to me about these.
That might be the snap she needed. You never know.
She won't sell me the bread.
Subconsciously, I planted a seed right there, like. World's going to
I mean, yeah. No. That's just an example of how hopeless it is to communicate. If someone hangs themselves up on a detail, I'm trying to get through to people on another level, and they have to cut the grass or amputate their tree, and everybody does it at the same time, and they all do it in chorus, and they're all out there with their fripping lawnmowers, and then when they're finished with that, they send out robot lawnmowers at night time, which hum and buzz around the place. You can't get any peace and quiet anymore, because they've got the flipping robot lawnmowers out here now, driving around automatically.
What?
Yes! This is the stuff. Now you don't need to mow the grass anymore, because everyone's going to have these blasted things driving around. I can see there's more and more of them by the day.
We used to have goats for that.
That's what I keep trying to tell people. Get a goat, get a sheep, cow, something like that. You know, something that's a habit. I was actually considering grazing myself because the grass looks healthier than the food they're giving us. So. Apart from the
grazing.
Yeah, I did a search on it. I thought, why can't I graze like a cow? I don't have 7 stomachs for a starters or whatever, and I found a video of an African, and I was he went and you could see him grazing the grass. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the whole video. I posted the video thinking this was great. It's possible just for us to graze like animals and go on all fours. But no, I was so stupid that I hadn't watched the whole video, although it was a short one. I posted it, and the next person that saw the vid, one of the next ones, watched the whole thing. He said, "Oh, this is terrible. Didn't you see what happened at the end?" I didn't see that. He's foaming at the mouth, and they take him away. They tie him up and they carry him away while he's foaming at the mouth. Oh, dear, it was really sad, because I thought that was going to be my solution, So who needs a shop if you can just get on all fours and graze?
That's why I wanted to eat a large amount of marijuana.
Well, that's grazable. That is definitely grazable.
Just graze on that.
I mean, you get your marijuana cake, you get your hash cake, and
there's no real way to build a marijuana community.
Doesn't it grow its own community?
If it's got the joke inside of itself, you get it.
Yeah, it just sends out a message through. It sends out a message through the ether, and then you just go in there and you graze on it.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
All right, so sorry to divert the conversation. Becca was trying to close it down. I think she had something to go do or something. I don't know.
Becky, are you there?
She's on mute.
I had a phone call, sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, thanks, everybody. Yeah, thanks, everybody, for joining and everybody watching. So we'll see you again tomorrow. No cat. My cat is getting my headphones. Good evening.